Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're jumping into something that trips up so many of us. How to really nail effective English conversation.
Yeah, it's a big one.
So our mission really is to pull out the practical, actionable stuff from our source, Better English Conversation Strategies,
Hmm.
and give you tools to feel, well, more confident, more competent when you're actually speaking English.
It's not about memorizing endless rules.
Exactly. It's more about understanding a few, key principles that can make a huge difference. So, let's dig in. What does a truly effective English conversation even look like? What are we aiming for?
That's the core question, isn't it? And
Yeah.
yeah, in this world of just information overload, we're
Yeah.
trying to distill what really matters, what helps you connect and learn, not just, spit out words.
Hi.
And the source, it gives a pretty clear path. 5 main points for improving flow and, crucially, confidence.
5 points. Got it. Let's unpack the first one. It sounds, well, almost too simple. Use simple sentences first.
Mm.
I can almost hear people thinking, wait, won't that make me sound like basic?
Yeah, that's a common fear.
But the advice is specific. Don't try to use big or complex words in the beginning. They give an example like, instead of, I'm fascinated by this topic, just say, I like this topic.
Right.
So what's the real power behind starting simple, especially at the beginning?
Well, the aha moment here is really about cognitive load. Think about it when you're learning, your brain is juggling so much.
Vocabulary, grammar.
Pronunciation, even just understanding the other person, trying to build these super complex sentences right away, it just adds massive pressure.
Okay, so you're saying simplicity reduces that mental effort.
Exactly. It lowers the load. It frees up your brain power to focus on the actual message.
No.
And, every time you have a clear, simple exchange that works.
You feel good about it.
Yeah. It's positive reinforcement, it builds confidence, reduces anxiety. It's like a psychological boost as much as a language one. It builds that strong foundation.
That makes a lot of sense. Confidence first.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that fear of complexity can really just freeze you up.
Totally.
Okay, so building on that solid, simple foundation, let's look at strategy number 2. This one's about delivery. Speak slowly and clearly.
Hmm. Another one that can feel a bit strange.
Right, because you might think, I need to speak fast to sound fluent. But the material says, don't rush. Focus on clear pronunciation.
Crucial.
And this detail too. Give pauses between ideas or questions. So why is slowing down, being deliberate, so important for good conversation?
Well, beyond just being polite, it's actually strategically smart for both people talking.
How so?
When you slow down, you're basically building in thinking time, buffer time, for the listener to really get what you're saying.
Sure.
And also for your own brain to, find the words, build the sentence, even check yourself.
So it helps you and them. Less mental scramble.
Precisely. Less cognitive overload all around. And it helps with rhythm, intonation, that musicality of English that's so important for meaning.
Right, sounding natural.
Yeah. It helps the other person understand you, and it helps you produce language more clearly. I often wonder how often we rush and what gets lost because of it.
Yeah, definitely been guilty of that. You see the confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so giving time is key. But communication isn't just about talking. It's also about hearing,
Mm.
which brings us perfectly to number 3. Listen actively.
Yes, this is huge.
The instruction is simple, but wow, really profound. Don't just wait to speak, really listen.
That's the shift.
Total aha moment for me anyway.
Yeah.
Because how often are we just lining up our next sentence?
All the time.
The source even gives little phrases like, that's interesting, or, oh, I see, or asking, what do you mean by that? Why are these simple things so powerful? What does really listening unlock for someone learning English?
It basically turns every conversation into a learning opportunity, a mini lesson.
Okay.
Active listening isn't just hearing the words, it's processing the meaning, the context, the feeling behind them.
So it's deeper than just catching vocabulary.
Way deeper. It's about eye contact, nodding maybe, like you said, using those little phrases, or even quickly saying back what you think you heard.
Like confirming.
Exactly. That kind of deep engagement forces your brain to really work with the language you're hearing. You start picking up natural word combinations, idioms, even cultural stuff.
Things you'd totally miss if you're just thinking about what you want to say next.
Absolutely. Your understanding goes way up, and it actually strengthens how you learn the language.
Wow, okay. That active listening piece feels like a real game changer.
It is.
Which leads nicely into number 4, which keeps that back and forth going. Ask and answer questions.
The engine of conversation.
Yeah. The material highlights using WH questions, what, where, why, how to continue the talk. Good example. How do you improve your English? So why are questions, especially these types, so vital for a natural conversation? What do they really do?
Well, fundamentally, they create that rhythm, that back and forth we expect in a real chat. They stop things from just dying out.
Right. Avoids the awkward silence.
Definitely. And for you, the learner, it's amazing practice. It gives you natural chances to use different sentence structures.
Like forming a question versus giving an answer.
Exactly. Or explaining something, describing something. It doesn't feel like a boring grammar drill because you're actually communicating, finding things out.
So it's real-world practice baked into the conversation itself.
Precisely. It helps you develop your language skills naturally, moving from simple exchanges to more complex talk, all driven by genuine curiosity.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and that brings us to the fifth and final strategy. And this one feels maybe the trickiest. Correct each other gently.
Ah, yes. The delicate art of correction.
Yeah, the source says if one person makes a mistake, the other can help nicely. They give that example. Person A says he go to school. Person B says, oh, you mean he goes to school, right?
Mm-hmm. With a little implied smiley face, perhaps.
Right. But it's sensitive, isn't it? Correction can feel bad, even if the intention is good. How do we handle this so it's actually helpful and doesn't just, make someone shut down?
It's a very crucial balance because friendly correction, done well, absolutely builds better grammar. But just as important, it builds confidence.
Yeah.
The goal has to be support, helping each other improve, not judging. If correction feels harsh or critical.
Yeah, that could kill the conversation.
Yeah.
And maybe make someone afraid to speak next time.
Exactly. It creates that negative feeling. But if it's offered gently, like maybe just rephrasing it correctly yourself, subtly, or asking that kind of polite question like in the example.
Like, oh, you mean?
Yeah. It reinforces the idea that it's okay to make mistakes, that conversation is a shared learning journey. It creates a safe space where errors are just chances to learn, not failures.
A safe space for learning. I like that. Okay, so let's recap this deep dive. We've looked at 5 core ideas from Better English Conversation Strategies to help you succeed. Started with that power of keeping it simple at first.
Build that confidence.
Then, the advantage of speaking slowly, clearly, giving that thinking time.
For both sides.
Then the huge impact of really listening actively, not just waiting to talk.
Turning conversation into learning.
Using questions to keep the conversation alive and practice naturally.
Or back and forth.
And finally, that delicate but important skill of gentle, supportive correction.
Helping each other grow.
These really aren't just random tips, are they? They feel more like fundamental practices.
They absolutely are. They work with how our brains learn and connect.
Built to boost your confidence in your actual skill.
And you know what's really fascinating here? These strategies, they're not just about English. Think about it. Starting simple, pacing yourself, truly listening, asking good questions, supporting growth gently. These are principles for better connection and learning in almost any situation.
That's a great point. It's bigger than just language.
It really is. It fosters that growth mindset. So the challenge for you, listening right now, is maybe to pick just one of these. Which one will you intentionally try out in your next conversation?
Just one small step.
Exactly, because those small, consistent actions, that's where the real mastery comes from. It's a journey, and these strategies can genuinely transform both your confidence and how effectively you learn.